Hi, and welcome to The Current, the official podcast of Riverfront Federal Credit Union, where we'll share our insights and experience to help you achieve your financial goals. So sit back, relax, and get ready to dive into the current. Welcome to episode number 2. Today we're talking about share certificates, not to be confused with certificates of deposits. But before we get into that, we're going to do some introductions. We're here with Tony. Tony, how's it going?
It's going real good. How about you?
Hey, so Tony, you are say this again?
The creative director at Riverfront Federal Credit Union.
Awesome. And what is your job? What do you actually do as a creative director?
Pretty much handle all of the graphic. Go ahead, Tim. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Come on, man.
I'm just
My
kidding.
review's coming up soon.
I'm just kidding. You're awesome, man.
Pretty much all the visuals that everyone sees, and hopefully,
like
memorable.
you designed the logo, isn't that true?
Yes.
Yeah, with a little bit of help from everybody else, but
That's
you
correct.
specifically actually put the thing together.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty cool. And also with us is Tim McLeod, President and CEO of Riverfront. Tim, how's it going?
It's going good.
Awesome. And so, Tim, what is it that you do here at Riverfront?
Well, as I said,
we all don't know, but
as I said last time, not a whole lot of anything. No, I do a lot of little things, I suppose you could say. So, like we said last time, Tony does a lot of creative. I empower Tony to do that, as I do with everybody, to enable them to do their job and stay out of their way.
actually, yeah, right. You give us a direction, you say, hey, get it done, and we get it done. Isn't that kind of true, huh?
That is a true statement.
Awesome. And also with us is a special guest, Jeff. Jeff is our Chief Financial Officer. Jeff, say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jeff.
How you doing?
Awesome. So, Jeff, what do you do here at Riverfront Federal Credit Union? And don't just say you just count numbers.
No, I count beans.
Bean
That was an easy one. It was a gimme. Teed it up.
Yeah, tee that one up for you, buddy.
I am the Chief Financial Officer at Riverfront. Enjoy what I do. And we do financial reporting, all the fun stuff that accountants do from day to day. And yes, we do count beans.
Awesome. So, Tim, any opening thoughts or anything you want to say?
Just a few. People that know me know I always have a word or two. So we wanted to bring Jeff on today, going back to what we talked about in episode 1 about what is a credit union, what's the credit union difference. So one of the things that we often get asked is how best to save my money. What's the best vehicle to use to get the best rate, whatever. And so, obviously that makes a good topic for a podcast, and we invited our resident expert, Jeff, to come in and teach us a thing or two about share certificates, sometimes referred to as certificates of deposit. They're called a lot of things, but what Jeff's going to do is give us the detail on it and some strategies that our member can use. So, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yes.
So we were asking you before we actually started recording. Why are they called share certificates and not just certificate deposits, or is there a major difference between the two, or what's going on there, if you can explain a little?
Yes, sure. So they're largely the same. In credit union land, I believe in the first podcast you talked about a share, members owning one share in the credit union. With that concept, the certificate is labeled a share certificate. In the banking industry in general, people will know it as a certificate of deposit, or a CD. So we may, just in talking, slip out a CD or certificate, but it means the same thing for what we're talking about today.
Oh, interesting. So why would one want to use a CD? Or actually, where's the benefit in the CD, and how does that work out? I know there's a benefit for the credit union. We'll probably talk a little bit about that as well, but what is the main benefit of a share certificate?
Well, there are several. It could be depending on what you're looking for, what a member is looking for. They're very safe. Any monies that are deposited into a credit union, as long as it's under $250,000, are going to be fully insured by the NCUA. So, somebody could look for a very safe vehicle to save. Oftentimes, if you've heard of saving with an emergency fund, certificates are often used for that emergency fund because it's highly liquid, even though it's maybe tied up for 3 months, 6 months, up to 5 years. But it can be used for saving in an emergency fund.
So if it's an emergency fund, but I know there's like a penalty to it if you take it out early. So is there a certain time frame where the penalty is lesser than the actual money you're going to make on it, or am I saying that correctly? Say you've had it in there a certain amount of time. And what is the actual penalty like? I'm sorry, I know that was a bunch of questions.
No, it's good. Yes, there are early withdrawal penalties on CDs. Most times, no matter what institution that you have a CD in, or a member has a CD in. And what that is it's only a penalty on the interest earned, or we call them dividends, I think we were talking about in the first podcast. So for any certificate that is less than 2 months in term, the early withdrawal penalty is 90 days of interest. If the certificate is 2 years or longer, the penalty is 180 days of interest earned. The principal does not get reduced at all.
Oh, wow.
And the reason that it is if a member is we're going to pay a higher rate theoretically on a CD, and that's because we're having the member tie up their money for a period of time. We may use that to loan back out into an automobile loan, for example.
Oh,
so if we're going to take,
what happens? We're taking all that funds and lending it out. Is that the reason why we're able to pay such a high interest rate?
Sure. Yes. The longer that we are going to rent someone's money, right? We're in the business of renting money. When people give us their money, we pay them a rent, and that's in the form of interest. And when people loan from us or borrow from us,
thinking of it,
they rent money from us, and we charge them interest on that.
Very good way to put it.
Renting out my money.
Right.
Tony, do you believe in using certificate deposits, or are you more like, I don't know about that, or what's your take on it?
Well, I think from a safety level and from a non-volatile level, definitely. I think most people can probably treat this almost as a savings, like a savings account with, a little bit of a hit if you need to pull it out, but then the rewards are a little better with the higher returns. So, for somebody that's not wanting to go too crazy, too aggressive, I think that's a great way to, to put your money somewhere.
And just another little tidbit there, kind of referring to what you was kind of talking all the way around. Some refer to a certificate or a share certificate as a time deposit, and that's one of the reasons why we pay a little bit more on that type of savings, because it has a time element to it. So we're going to hold that money for longer. We're going to hold your money longer, and we're going to pay you a little bit more of a dividend to do so. Does that make sense? In other words, we can guarantee those funds for us to have and use for loans and other purposes.
Okay.
Under some form of a guarantee that money is going to be here for that long of a period.
Hey, Jeff, tell us about what some of these certificates are.
Yeah, sure. So there are different share certificates that we offer, and we call them either tax favored, and by tax favored could be IRAs, individual retirement accounts, or Coverdell education savings accounts. So where they could be special purpose, a depositor may want to save for educational purposes, and they can do that with some tax benefits where the interest is not taxed that they are earning on their CDs. And there are regular share certificates where it can be for whatever special purpose. I think, Joel, you mentioned about maybe saving for a car or something like that, getting a higher rate. But those interests are taxed then each year.
Okay. So what if I have I'm saving up for my kid to go to college? Would it be best to put it in you wouldn't put that in a retirement one. You'd put that in a share certificate, correct?
Correct.
So because that's something that you want to have access to.
Yes. It's a Coverdell education savings account.
Oh, so there is one for education?
Yes.
Oh.
An individual retirement account would be for retirement and would be for your retirement, not for education.
Okay, so what is the timing on an education one? Or is there, I assume there's penalties with that if you take it out early, or is it different with an education one?
Well, we offer, again, back to the different types of certificates, there's also different terms. So we offer as little as three months up to 5 years. So somebody could set up that their time frame that fits for them, how long do they not need to use that money, that they're willing to tie it up, and theoretically the longer that they're going to tie it up, the higher the interest rate that is going to be paid on that.
So how is that interest compounded? Is that monthly, yearly,
Yes, monthly.
or monthly? It's compounded. So every month you're gaining interest on that.
Right. So let's just say that the first month of interest you earn $3. The next month that interest is $3 is going to earn interest. So maybe the next month it's $3.50, $3.50, and so on and so on. That's compounding.
Huh. Oh, that's pretty cool.
The magic of time.
Time and money.
Time and money.
That's cool. Now, I know you can't avoid the penalties, but say I have $10,000 that I want to buy a share certificate. Do I have to put that all in one share certificate, or can I divide it into like $1,000 certificates? And then if for some reason I need $1,000, I'm not going to take much of a hit on that interest because the other 9 are out there. Is that something that I can do?
Sure. We call that laddering.
Laddering.
Or structuring.
Structuring?
But laddering is the common way. So in your example, $10,000, you could either put that in one share certificate at whatever term you are willing to tie that up, or let's use 5 years, for example.
Okay.
You could break that up into 5 2-year or 5 $2,000 certificates. And the way to ladder would be you buy a 5-year certificate for $2,000, you buy a 4-year certificate for $2,000, and so on down the line, 3-year, 2-year, 1 year. When the 1 year matures, you will buy that back into another 5-year certificate.
Hey, Jeff, what happens if you don't do anything with that? So it matures and you don't do anything. What happens at that point?
It depends on how you set it up at the time you open it. It can either automatically renew, it can mature into another deposit account, or it could be transferred out.
So the laddering process, continue. That actually sounded kind of interesting. You're just kind of like rolling the certificates?
Right. So again, when that 1 year CD matures, that's the first one that's going to mature time-wise. Invest that back into another 5 year. You're going on say we call it the back end. And then when the 2 year CD matures, put that into a 5 year. So after 5 years, this money you're always going to have money renewing, and you can get an interest rate every year at whatever the current market rate is. So in times when rates are going up, you're going to get a higher rate. Conversely, if rates do go lower in that 5 years, you would be investing at a lower rate. But it's called always being in the money, meaning you're always going to be getting the current CD rates at that time when your CD funds are maturing.
I may have to try that.
Yeah, that makes very sense. Yeah, try that here at Riverfront
That's
Federal
what I
Credit
mean.
Union.
try that here at Riverfront.
And it doesn't have to be 5 years. It could be any term. You could use
but
three.
we
or
understand.
one.
It's a process. You don't have to throw all your eggs in one basket. You kind of like divvy it up and roll with it with different month. Was it month terms or yearly terms or all of the above?
You could use any term that is offered.
That is awesome.
And sometimes we call them odd terms that are offered. Maybe not 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, but sometimes it might be 17 months or 21 months. Oftentimes what an institution might do is they may have a special promotion going on, or they may need money for a specific time frame because they may be loaning that out for a specific time frame. It may be something other than a 12, 24, 36 month.
Like now, we've got a crazy rate on a 17 and a 20 month. Mm-hmm. We're not going to talk about rates because we don't have the appropriate disclosures and such.
So
but
check out our website.
Yes,
It's an interesting rate.
There you go.
But there are some terms with it as far as being able to qualify for that, correct? On that one that we currently have on our website? I think
membership.
membership, and I think it has to be certain deposit amounts and stuff like that. So definitely, that's why we can't
check out the
necessarily.
website. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely why we can't see the interest
No
rate on
shooting
this
from the
pod.
hip.
No shooting from the hip. Go to our website, check it out. It's a very, very, very good rate. It seems like rates are going up all over the place. Is there a reason for that, or is that just us, or is that industry wide?
Industry wide, the rates are high. As you know, you can't turn on the television without seeing the Fed raise rates. And obviously inflation is prevalent right now. And to try to cool the market down, if we raise interest rates, oftentimes that flows into people's credit cards and home equity lines of credit. So the cost of living increases and the cost of borrowing increases. So that also requires some extra money on deposit. So we would pay higher, quote, rents to try to attract deposits into the credit union.
And that was a nice compact statement of the current affairs in the economy that Jeff just did.
Yes.
I mean, literally in 30 seconds, he just explained what's going on in the economy. That's really good.
Yeah.
And it's good to understand that too, especially at the basic level.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Well, that was a lot on certificates. So we're going to wrap this up right about now. Tony, any final thoughts? Do you think you'll be getting a certificate anytime soon? I know myself, I probably can't afford one right now, but
Well, what? We can open it as little as what?
$1,000.
$1,000.
Oh, well, maybe I can get a certificate. So go ahead, Tony. Any
So
thoughts?
a couple less lunches out.
Yes.
You know,
a
that
lot.
might be
Yeah. The way the cost of living is, a few lunches and I can get me 3 certificates.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, just the whole thought of preparing for the future. There's many different ways you can do it, and I think that's what, regardless how you want to approach that, just having the understanding of not just sitting around and hoping for the best, actually doing something about it is something I think everyone needs to have at least some thought process.
Right.
So.
Jeff, any other final thoughts about certificates?
Sure. For our membership, what we really do when we're sitting around the room pricing out our certificates, and maybe to visualize this, we don't wear what do they wear? Those green visors and black armbands and smoking cigars. We don't do that.
Sleeve bands.
But what we do try to do is always have great pricing on our CDs so that a member doesn't have to look around for the best rate. We offer great rates and great terms so that they don't have to look around.
Awesome. Tim, any final thoughts?
Yes. Anytime you save money is very advantageous. And one of the things that we talked about last episode was one of the differences in credit unions from other financial organizations. We try to provide a higher dividend for savings and a lower interest rate for loans. And that's part of the credit union difference. And we always try to encourage people to save. Jeff mentioned it earlier, set up an emergency fund. We're going to be talking about all of this in an upcoming episode when we're talking about savings and budgeting and some financial literacy type stuff. But anytime you can save money, be it an emergency fund or not, savings is always good to have that safety blanket.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll also add too. There's some risk tolerance concepts involved there. That if somebody has a higher risk tolerance, they may look to the mutual fund arena, stock market to get a possibly higher return. Those that may not have as much risk tolerance, they don't want to take a lot of risk. CDs, share certificates are a great option for that because, again, as long as you stay within the NCUA shared insured limit, there's no risk.
Awesome. Tim, I'm sorry. Is there anything else you want to?
No, I think we covered a good deal of ground and a fair amount of depth.
Yes, we did. Yes,
you know,
we did.
so you know,
And
appreciate
for our tens and tens of listeners out there that are currently,
I know it.
and hi, Mom, I know she's listening.
Well, look,
Got
Joel.
some good information.
The good news with episode number 2, we know we will at least get 4 likes because we have 4 people on it this time.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
If we like twice, does that make 8?
Well, we're on different platforms now.
You have
We're
to
on
go to each
Google.
one.
You have to go to each one.
Got
We're
you.
on, what is it? Google Podcasts, Spotify. We're all over the place now.
I got
So
my kids
definitely-
to do it.
Yeah, there you go. Get your kids, everybody. So our tens and tens of listeners out there, go to each section and like that bad boy. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. And remember, if you want to make your life a little easier, keep following the current.